T-minus 10, 9, 8,
The clock is
7.
operating. We're underway.
Tranquility Base here.
Endeavour, go and throttle up.
The countdown for launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-108 is continuing on schedule this afternoon. Launch is scheduled to occur at about 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today, and our launch opportunity window extends for about 5 minutes. The countdown clock is currently in a scheduled hold at T-minus 3 hours. We will be coming out of this hold in about 1 hour and 19 minutes, keeping us on schedule for our launch this afternoon, again at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. At this time, work at Launch Pad 39B as well as operations here in Firing Room 3 of the Launch Control Center continue as planned. At about 8:20 this morning, we began operations to load the external tank with about 500,000 gallons of liquid propellants that are used by the shuttle's 3 main engines. Tanking operations generally last about 3 hours and in fact were complete at about 11 o'clock this morning Eastern Time. No serious technical issues or problems are currently being worked at this time, and we anticipate an on-time liftoff of Space Shuttle Endeavour and her 7-member crew from Kennedy Space Center in about 5 hours and 15 minutes. Check that, about 5 hours and 45 minutes. The primary objective of shuttle mission STS-108 is to rendezvous and dock with the orbiting International Space Station for the purposes of delivering the equipment and experiment racks to outfit the U.S. lab called Destiny. Inside Endeavour's payload bay is the Multi-Purpose Logistics Module, or the MPLM, which we have tagged with the name Raffaello, which will carry the experiment and the experiment racks, as well as equipment to the International Space Station. This mission will also see the performance of an International Space Station crew exchange between the Expedition 3 crew currently on board the station and the Expedition 4 crew. The shuttle will dock to the station on Thursday, December the 6th, and undock about a week later. During this time, astronauts Linda Godwin and Dan Tawney will perform the only planned spacewalk of this flight. And then landing of Endeavour will be set for the early afternoon of December the 15th back at Kennedy Space Center. Coming up momentarily will be the crew, as they have just been seated for their afternoon lunch, and this will be a photo opportunity with the crew, followed shortly after that by photos of the crew being suited up, and then of course the walkout activities as they depart for the pad. Walkout of the crew toward the pad will be at about 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon. Weather forecasters continue to indicate only about a 20% chance of violation. Currently at Kennedy Space Center there are overcast skies. However, it is anticipated that this frontal passage will be moving away. This band of weather will be moving out of the area over the next hour or two. The only concern that we're looking at dealing with throughout the afternoon has to do with crosswind component at the shuttle landing facility in the event that we have to perform a return to launch site abort. At launch time tonight, which will be about 15 minutes after sunset, we are looking at a 3/8 sky coverage, scattered clouds, with the bases of the clouds being at 3,000 feet and the tops at 7,000 feet. The visibility will be good with 7 miles or greater. The temperature will be about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, the humidity at 74%. Again, there is a small chance of coastal showers, but it only provides for enough of a probability to give us only about a 20% chance of violating our launch constraints. With tanking completed at the launch pad at this time is our final inspection team, formerly known as the Ice and Debris Inspection Team. And they are in the process of making a final survey of the pad and the various shuttle components, making sure that all is ready for flight late this afternoon. They will also make inspections of the external tank and measure the external temperatures of the vehicle. Now, these temperatures are extremely cold following the completion of the loading of the external tank late this morning with the super cold propellants, despite our relatively warm temperatures outside. Final inspection team spends about 2 hours at the pad, going through most levels to check temperatures and signs for potential debris and icing concerns. And when they are finished, they will report their findings back to our launch director, Mike Leinbach, as well as the mission management team here in Firing Room 3. Again, at this time in the Launch Control Center, all is scheduled for the launch of Endeavour at about 5:45 p.m. this afternoon. No serious technical issues or concerns are being addressed by the launch team at this time. At T-minus 3 hours and holding, this is Shuttle Launch Control. And we do now have live pictures of our 7 astronauts as they're seated for their final meal prior to takeoff. Dan Taney will be our EVA specialist, as well as Linda Godwin, who will also be flying EVA. Mark Kelly is our pilot on this mission. And Dom Gorey, of course, is the commander of this flight. Also flying up is the Expedition 4 crew members, Yuri Onufrenko, and of course Carl Waltz and Dan Bursch. They will be spending the next several months in orbit on the International Space Station until the shuttle goes back up to retrieve them on a mission scheduled for next March. And at this time, the astronauts will be moving over to the suit-up room, where they will be taking all of the final preparations and checks before actually being taken out to the pad. Everything, again, remains on schedule. The suit-up activities will be occurring here in the next few minutes, as well will a weather briefing. The astronauts will be given a briefing on today's weather activities, both here at Kennedy Space Center as well as at our transoceanic abort sites and other sites around the globe. Regarding weather, again, the only serious concern that we have right now at this point is the ongoing aspect of the potential for crosswind violations at our shuttle landing facility. Crosswind limits are at 15 knots. However, there is the flexibility that all things remaining equal and other activities going well, that we could actually increase that limit up to 16 or perhaps 17 knots. So we will be watching that throughout the afternoon. Charlie Precourt, Chief of Astronaut Office, will be flying in the shuttle training aircraft, as well as a trainer T-38. He will be above the skies looking at the other aspects of the weather around Kennedy Space Center, but primarily doing touch and goes at the shuttle landing facility in a configuration similar to what the Commander Dom Gorey would be seeing if we did have to do a return to launch site abort. He will be evaluating the crosswinds at that time, looking for any particular gusts. Also, we will have our weather forecasters and monitors monitoring all of the gauges and so forth, that they can determine exactly what our wind situation is. But again, we are not holding up any activities at the pad for that. The astronauts are on schedule. They've been awake since about 8:30 this morning. Again, they had breakfast at about 9 o'clock and have just been seated for a snack or a lunch. They are moving over to their suiting quarters at this time and preparing to suit up, put up, and be placed into their launch and entry suits. And then with our walkout scheduled for about 2 o'clock this afternoon, that does keep us on schedule for launch time at 5:45 p.m. from the Kennedy Space Center. We will have live TV of suit-up activities coming up here in the next few minutes. That should be shown at about 1:30, 1:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Meanwhile, we have about an hour and 10 minutes remaining in our scheduled built-in hold at T-minus 3 hours. At T-minus 3 hours in holding, this is shuttle launch control. And this is live now from the Operations and Checkout building. The astronauts, as they're being suited up for our flight today, are all being suited in their orange flight suits. They're being assisted in their suits by technicians from both the Kennedy Space Center as well as from the Johnson Space Center. Our commander, Dom Gorey, is on his third mission into space today. He has flown twice before. Mark Kelly is our pilot on this mission. This is, in fact, his first flight into space. Mark Kelly is a U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander, and he has a bachelor's degree in marine engineering and nautical science. Linda Godwin, one of our EVA specialists on this flight. She is a physicist. She has flown 3 times. This will be her 4th mission into space aboard the Space Shuttle. Dan Birch. He's logged more than 746 hours in space. This will be his 4th space flight. Carl Waltz, another of our Expedition 4 crew members. Carl has flown on Discovery and Columbia and Atlantis, and now he's going to be flying on Endeavour. Yuri Onyefrenko from the Russian Space Agency. He will be the Alpha Station commander for Expedition 4. He did fly on Mir for 6 months. And that looks like Dan Tawney up under that helmet right there. Dan is preparing for his first space shuttle mission, and he will also be one of our EVA crew members. Dan has a bachelor's and master's in mechanical engineering from MIT. All of our crew members are well trained and they are prepared for this flight. These bright orange colored suits are basically an altitude protection system. It includes, of course, the helmet and communications cap and pressure garment, as well as anti-exposure gloves and boots. Back live now with Shuttle Endeavour sitting on launch pad 39B. Again, everything continues to go well and on schedule. No issues are being addressed by the launch team at this time. Mission STS-108 is the 12th space shuttle flight to the International Space Station. It's scheduled to be an 11-day mission and is the first utilization flight to the station. The primary objective of this mission is to transfer hardware to the station as well as to perform the third station crew rotation. One spacewalk is planned for this flight to perform preventative maintenance on the beta gimbal assembly of the station's solar wings. These wings are used to adjust the angle, or these assemblies are used to adjust the angle of the wings as they track the sun. The Raffaello Multipurpose Logistics Module, or MPLM, will be carried into orbit in the orbiter's payload bay, and it will deliver the station experiments and hardware to be used by the expedition for crew. One of 3 MPLMs built by the Italian Space Agency, Raffaello, is named for the 16th century artist, Raffaello Sanzio. Several experiments will be performed during mission STS-108. All in all, this mission will see docked phase to the station of 7 days with a landing back at Kennedy Space Center on December the 15th. In a few moments after the crew completes donning their flight suits, they will depart their crew quarters and be driven to the pad for entry into the Shuttle Endeavour. Departure again for the pad is expected to occur on time at about 1:55 p.m. Meanwhile, engineers and managers are making sure all preparations are continuing on schedule for a liftoff scheduled for about 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. No reports of any vehicle or hardware problems are being discussed that would prevent an on-time launch of Discovery on this mission. Everything continues to go according to plan today at Kennedy Space Center. Operations at the pad with the Shuttle Endeavour are proceeding smoothly, and the astronauts are in the process of finalizing their suit-up activities and making preparations to depart their crew quarters in just a few minutes. Again, live TV coverage of this event will be coming up at that time. With about 10 minutes remaining in our built-in hold at T-minus 3 hours and holding, this is Shuttle Launch Control. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 3 hours and holding, and we are in fact coming out of this hold in just 2 seconds, and we are at T-minus 3 hours and counting. Everything continues to look good for our launch attempt today of mission STS-108. our crew of 7. That will be 4 crew members for the mission STS-108, as well as the 3 Expedition 4 crew members that will be going to the International Space Station and replacing the current Expedition 3 crew that is on board the station at this time, and they have been on board since August. This current crew will stay on board the station until mid-March. No technical issues are being addressed at this time by the launch team in the firing room. Mission management team are starting to gather in here as well. Again, all continues to go very smoothly in our countdown. Since tanking operations began this morning at about 8:20 and concluded shortly after 11 o'clock, we have had no discussions of any serious issues at all. The weather looks like it's going to be cooperating with us as well. Only a slight chance of some showers in the area. The clouds that we see in the area right now are expected to clear out over the next hour or so. In fact, we're seeing the ceiling breaking up a little bit. The concern for crosswinds is still being discussed. Our shuttle training aircraft pilot, Charlie Precourt, will be driven out to the shuttle landing facility in just a few moments, as will the crew for this mission be taken out to the launch pad. And we expect live coverage of that activity, of the crew being taken out to the pad, departing their crew quarters, coming up in the next few minutes. At T-minus 2 hours, 58 minutes and counting, this is Shuttle Launch Control. And from the 3rd floor of our operations and checkout building, coming off of the walkway that leads to their crew quarters, are our crew for this flight. The STS-108 crew heading toward the elevator, which will take them down to the bottom floor of their facility at Kennedy Space Center and into the astronaut van that will drive them out to the pad. Standing by now for the arrival of the crew at the base of this ramp. And they are coming out at this time. Commander Don Rory leading his crew, pilot Mark Kelly, mission specialist Linda Godwin, Dan Taney, Carl Waltz, Yuri Onyefrenko, and Dan Bursch. Waltz, Onyefrenko, and Bursch will remain on the station until the shuttle returns to pick them up in March. Riding along with the astronauts in the astronaut van are members of the flight crew office, security officers, and other astronauts who will be performing weather assessment functions for our launch attempt today. Also on board is astronaut Charlie Precourt, who will be piloting the shuttle training aircraft, which will be used for weather reconnaissance prior to and during our launch this afternoon. The astronauts with their security escort are now being driven out to the launch pad. The crew is en route at this time to launch pad 39B, where the orbiter Endeavour and members of the closeout team await their arrival. And we do have a live view of our astronaut van as it is passing by the Launch Control Center and the firing room where our mission managers and launch directors are gathered. They do remain in the astronaut van at this time and are being escorted out and driven out to the launch pad. It's about a 4.2 mile trip on the ground to the pad. And again, a live TV of our astronauts being driven out to launch pad 39B. They're just made the turn that takes them to the launch pad. They should be there in the next few minutes or so. Again, this mission involves 3 crews, the commander and pilot, and 2 mission specialists who will launch and land with the orbiter. The 3-member Expedition 4 crew is being taken into orbit for its stay aboard the International Space Station, and they will remain there until May of next year. And the Expedition 3 crew that has been on the station since August, they will be returned to Earth aboard Space Shuttle Endeavour when it lands back here on December the 15th. The multi-purpose logistics module, which is a pressurized Italian-built moving van named Raffaello, is making its 2nd visit to the International Space Station, carrying supply racks and supply platforms. This marks the 4th visit of an MPLM to the station. Raffaello will be returned to Earth in Endeavour's cargo bay. The arrival of Endeavour and the Expedition 4 crew will mark a watershed, the beginning of Phase 3 of International Space Station operations. The maturing space station has added world-class scientific facilities that makes possible a greater concentration on research, which is the purpose of the orbiting laboratory. A single spacewalk is scheduled for this mission. It is designed to perform preventative maintenance on a module at the base of one of the station's solar wings. And the astronauts are now passing through a checkpoint at the base of the launch pad 39B, preparing to take the ramp up to the pad where Shuttle Endeavour currently awaits. The closeout crew is currently in the astronauts' crew compartment, making final the switch of all the panel switches, making sure that the checklist has been performed, essentially making ready for the astronauts to board the vehicle. Once the astronaut van stops, the crew will be taking an elevator up to the 195-foot level of the fixed service structure. Pad 39B is the southernmost pad of NASA's 2 shuttle launch facilities. And we can see the astronauts now departing the astronaut van. Heading toward the elevator that will take them up to the 195-foot level of the fixed service structure. At this time, as the crew are making their way toward the elevator, engineers are verifying that the tank is being topped off. The external tank is being topped off to its proper levels. The external tank holds about 500,000 gallons of liquid propellants. Also at this time, engineers are verifying that the water tank is at its proper levels. The water tank holds about 300,000 gallons of water and is commanded just a few seconds prior to liftoff to be completely emptied as part of the sound suppression system on the mobile launcher platform. Astronauts on the launch pad taking one last look from the base level up at the Shuttle Endeavour, and now they are making their way to the elevator that will carry them to the 195-foot level of the fixed service structure. And with the astronauts standing on the upper levels of the service structure, they have now just been given a go to begin their ingress operations into the vehicle Endeavour. The closeout crew has made all necessary preparations for them to begin taking their seats for a launch that currently remains on time at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, today's launch represents the 17th flight of the Shuttle Endeavour, the 107th shuttle flight overall in NASA's Space Shuttle program. Endeavour will be placed into a 122-mile-high orbit at an inclination of 51.6 degrees to the equator. Endeavour's mission is expected to last about 11 days, ending with a landing back here at Kennedy Space Center on December the 15th at about 1:30 p.m. When Endeavour lands, it will be carrying with them the Expedition 3 crew members who will have spent about 125 days in space since they were launched. And our first member to climb aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour is our commander, which is the tradition to let the commander go on board first. A strap-in camera is now on the flight deck, and it will be showing him getting into his seat and being assisted with getting his straps on and his helmet on as well. The crew for this mission have been at Kennedy Space Center since a week ago Sunday. And during their stay, they have been through the standard pre-launch activities, including flying shuttle training aircraft and going over pad procedures, and taking part in other orbiter and payload status briefings. They have, in fact, been thoroughly briefed on today's launch weather conditions, and right now the weather conditions are looking acceptable. The only issue that will be discussed to some degree will be the crosswind concerns, and astronaut pilot Charlie Precourt, who is flying the shuttle training aircraft, will be bringing that information down to our launch team in the firing room. Meanwhile, everything continues on schedule with Commander Dom Gorey climbing into his commander seat aboard the flight deck on the Space Shuttle Endeavour. Dominic Gorey, again, is the commander. He is a U.S. Navy captain, 44 years of age. He has a bachelor's in ocean engineering from the U.S. Naval Academy and a master's in aviation systems from the University of Tennessee. Gorey flew on Discovery in 1998 and also on Endeavour last year. Now climbing on board is Mission Specialist number 4, Dan Bursch, who will be seated in the number 7 position on the middeck.
1 minute ago, and MS-5 is going in now. Copy 1425, 1426.
Dan, as well as the other Expedition 4 crew members, Carl Waltz and Yuri Onufrenko, will be on the middeck. Looking forward, Dan will be on the far right-hand side of the middeck. And we should be seeing him enter the middeck in the next moment and make his way into his assigned seat. And we see Dan is climbing aboard the middeck at this time and finding his way to his seat. Dan Bursch has logged more than 746 hours in space. This mission, STS-108, is his 4th space flight. He also served as a mission specialist in 1993, 94, and 96. Bursch is 44 years old. He's a Navy captain. He's a former pilot and test pilot instructor with more than 2,900 hours of flight in 35 various forms of aircraft.
381 is TR 166. Copy IPR 166.
GLS.
Go ahead, GLS.
We've completed implementation of SAT 92. That's step 468
75
through 475.
Copy.
Everything continues to go very smoothly with ingressing the astronauts into the Space Shuttle Endeavour today for our launch that remains scheduled for 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time from the Kennedy Space Center. Again, this is the 12th Space Shuttle flight of Endeavour. Excuse me, this is the 12th Space Shuttle flight to the International Space Station. And the 6th flight of the shuttle this year. Next to enter the vehicle will be our pilot, Mark Kelly. Kelly is a U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander. This is his first Space Shuttle flight at age 37. He has logged over 2,000 flight hours in more than 40 different aircraft, and he flew 39 combat missions in Operation Desert Storm. He was selected by NASA in 1996 as an astronaut and was assigned to various technical duties in the astronaut office computer support area. On this mission, along with other duties, Mark Kelly will operate the shuttle's robotic arm during the flight's only scheduled spacewalk. Meanwhile, Dom Gorey, our commander, is being assisted with his helmet and his communications cap.
Copy that. Ready for IMU platform positioning, GNC.
Since the area is so cramped, they can basically only work on one astronaut at a time in such close proximity.
33.
So once the commander is situated, then Mark Kelly will be able to climb into his seat, which is right next to the commander's seat.
to you loud and clear. How me?
Rudy, we've got you loud and clear. Looks like it's turning out to be a wonderful afternoon.
I sure hope so. That's what I hear.
And Mark Kelly is now climbing aboard the Shuttle Endeavour to take his seat next to Dom Gorey, who is already on board.
NTD, CDR, com check.
CDR, this is MTD. I have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard, Dom.
Thanks, Jeff. Looks like a good day.
All along, as the astronauts get into their seats and get their communications caps on, they will be making periodic voice checks back with the launch controllers here at Kennedy Space Center, as well as mission controllers, flight controllers at the Johnson Space Center.
See you. OVTC.
Yeah, the PLT is in.
Copy. PLT at 1436.
Houston, CDR, com check.
CDR, Houston has you loud and clear. Dom, looking forward to the roll.
Vegas, we are 2 and you have a bit of an echo.
Copy that. We'll check on it.
That second call was much better.
Next, waiting outside in the White Room to board is Expedition 4 Flight Engineer Carl Waltz. Carl Waltz, 46, is an Air Force colonel, also a former flight test engineer and flight test manager, selected as an astronaut back in 1990, and a veteran of 3 space flights. He holds a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degrees in physics and enjoys a number of activities, including various sports and music. And in fact, he is the lead singer for Max Q, which is the astronaut rock and roll band. Carl won't be playing with the rock and roll band for another several months, as he is expected to stay on board the space station until we retrieve him back and bring him back in May of next year. Carl will be the Alpha Station flight engineer. He has flown on Discovery, Columbia, and Atlantis. This will be his first flight on Endeavour.
CTLS OTC.
GLS go.
I'd like to go ahead and give you 5:34, the kickoff for GLS initialization. You can pick it up by the clock.
Okay, we need to read 535 to the test team, and we would need a CMQC on channel 162.
CMQC needs port 162 with sequence 62.
Copy 162.
And you got to go for 535, DLS.
Okay, that dual interrupt notification will be activated momentarily and may cause re-enunciation of error messages at the system's consoles for interrupt monitored parameters currently out of GLS limits at step 535.
OTC, OVCC.
Go ahead, OVCC.
MS3 in at 1439.
Copy.
And that is confirmation that Carl Waltz, MS3, is now on board Endeavour. In fact, we can see that now by looking at the strap-in camera on the mid-deck of Endeavour. Carl will be taking his seat looking forward on the far left-hand side of the mid-deck.
CGSS, OTC. CGSS. CGSS, I'm at TV 542 at this time, OAA accumulator force charge. Copy that, didn't work.
Next to board Endeavour will be our mission specialist, Linda Godwin. Linda Godwin is a physicist. She has a bachelor's in mathematics and physics from Southeast Missouri State and a master's and doctorate in physics from the University of Missouri. Linda has flown previously on Atlantis, Endeavour, and again on Atlantis. Her first flight was 10 years ago in 1991. On this mission, Linda Godwin will serve as shuttle loadmaster for the logistics transfer, and she will operate the shuttle's robotic arm during the berthing and unberthing of the MPLM. Back in 1996, one of her previous space flights took her to the space station Mir.
CMQC, OTC. QC, 541 is verified. Copy.
Again, Linda Godwin in the White Room, preparing to enter the orbiter. Only one spacewalk is scheduled for this mission. Linda Godwin will be part of that team that will be going outside the confines of the shuttle and the space station. This particular spacewalk is designed to perform preventative maintenance on a module at the base of one of our station's solar wings in an effort to increase power consumption or to decrease power consumption that has been noted. Godwin, along with fellow astronaut Dan Tawney will be performing that spacewalk midway through the flight.
TC, COC 212. Go ahead, COC. Just for the record there, 513 and 514 are complete. When you're ready for 515, you can proceed with the post-ingress switch reconfig. Copy, stand by.
OTC, PLT, contact.
Good afternoon, Mark. Copy you loud and clear. How me?
Got you loud and clear, Rudy.
Yep.
NTD, PLT, contact.
PLT, this is NTD. I have you loud and clear. Good afternoon, Mark.
I got you loud and clear too, Jeff.
Ask OTC.
Go ahead.
Ask when you're available. I'll give you the kickoff to perform the post-ingress switch reconfiguration and switch guard removal per your checklist.
Okay, I'm ready and that's in work.
Thank you.
Houston, PLT, contact.
PLT, Houston has you loud and clear. Welcome aboard, Mark.
Hey, thanks, Vegas. Good to be here.
OTC, APU. Go APU. Yes, sir. I was wondering if I could get a CMQC on channel 187 for IPR 166. CMQC? Copy 187. CCSS.
OTCS, post-ingress switch reconfig's complete.
Copy 523S, ISL OTC. ISL OTC. ISL. I'd like to give you 523, stand by for master alarm.
Copy that.
ASP OTC, go to proceed with caution warning volume adjust.
Okay, that's in work.
OTC, OVC.
And Linda Godwin is now climbing through the hatch, making her way into the orbiter. She will be seated on the flight deck with Commander Gorey and pilot Kelly, who are already on board. And Mission Specialist Dan Tawney will be joining them in the next few minutes. At this time, 5 of our 7 astronauts who will be flying into space today aboard Space Shuttle Endeavour are currently on the vehicle. And the other 2 astronauts are preparing to board the vehicle over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, voice checks are being conducted by the ones that are already on Endeavour. And that will continue through the next hour or so.
Looking for a call back at 544. I'll give you that. Thank you.
No technical issues or concerns are being addressed that would prohibit a launch on time. Launch again is scheduled for 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time
CBSE, OTC.
from the Kennedy Space Center.
CBSE.
551. Do we have biomed data today?
That is a not performed.
Thank you, sir.
OTC ASP, the caution and warning volume adjust is complete.
Copy that, ASP. ISL? ISL. Caution warning volume adjust complete.
Copy that.
527. COC, OTC.
There we go.
528 through 531.
They are complete.
RSRT, OTC 212.
RSRT,
552, please.
552 is complete. Tech 1390.
1390, copy.
Correct.
Next to enter the vehicle is Expedition 4 Commander Yuri Onufrenko. He will fly aboard Endeavour as commander of the Expedition 4 crew. He and the other 2 members will replace the current Expedition 3 crew members who are currently aboard the station. As a test cosmonaut, he has logged more than 800 flight hours and has spent 193 days in space. He served as commander on Mir 21, and during that mission he performed numerous research experiments and participated in 6 spacewalks. As commander of the Expedition 4 crew, he is responsible for the overall safety and success of the 3 crew members aboard station. Meanwhile, the shuttle weather officer has given our launch director a brief indication of our weather situation. The shuttle training aircraft being piloted by Charlie Precourt made a sortie out over the Atlantic Ocean to look at the clouds out there and reported that there was a shower about an hour out, which is heading in the direction of the Space Center. Again, it's a light shower, but still the concern is for any precipitation of any magnitude in the clouds that the shuttle may end up flying through. The estimation right now is, again, the shower should be coming on shore in about an hour. Given that scenario, then we should still be in good shape for a launch on time at 5:45. The winds at the shuttle landing facility are continuing to stay consistently below the threshold. They're looking at winds at about 14, 15 knots, which is at the top of our threshold, but within our capabilities of having to meet our launch criteria. Again, the winds are coming from the northeast, and we will be watching them closely, as will we be watching the any shower or buildup of cloud over the Atlantic Ocean as these clouds continue to drift onshore. Meanwhile, activities continue on schedule with loading the final of our 7 astronauts on board the Space Shuttle Endeavour. Expedition 4 Commander Yuri Onufrenko has just boarded the vehicle. And now Mission Specialist Dan Tani will be the remaining astronaut to board Endeavour at this time.
Houston, MS3, com check. How do we read?
MS3, Houston, have you loud and clear, call. Welcome aboard. We're looking forward to your stay.
And Vegas, got you loud and clear also. Thanks.
And astronaut Dan Tani waving to Jane and to his mom. This is Dan's first flight aboard the space shuttle. And happy birthday to his father. Looks like he has a message for just about everybody in his family.
OTC, MS5, com check.
MS5, OTC, copy you loud and clear. Dan, how me?
Got you loud and clear also, Rudy. Good afternoon.
Yes, indeed.
MTD, MS5, com check.
MS5, this is MTD, have you loud and clear. Good afternoon, Dan.
Good afternoon, Jeff. Got you loud and clear also. Houston, MS5, com check.
MS5, Houston has you loud and clear. Welcome aboard, Dan.
Good afternoon, Vegas. Got you loud and clear, too.
Same QC, OTC. Same QC. 16504 is complete. You need to fill in.
I got MS1 in 1926, but I heard him at 1950. It was probably MS2 at 1926.
1425, 1436, NA, 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 1450, 1458, 1439, 1453, and 1426. And obviously, I'm sorry, add 5 for GMT.
Copy that.
CNC OTC. CGNC OTC.
CNC,
571.
that's per the clock. We're about a minute and a half out.
This is Yuri Contact.
Good afternoon, Yuri. I copy you loud and clear. How me?
Loud and clear, that's fine. Thank you. NGG MS4 com check.
MS4, this is NTD. I have you loud and clear. Good afternoon, Yuri.
Good afternoon. I hear you this loud and clear. Houston, MS4 com check.
MS4, Houston has you loud and clear. Yuri, safe trip to you and your crew.
This is loud and clear. There we go.
What do you see, CGNC?
Go.
I can give you 571 now.
Copy that. FCP OTC. FCP. 572. Copy 572. QC on 153. Badge firm. CMQC.
Going 153.
OTC, OVCC. Go ahead, OVCC.
MS2, end of this time.
Copy.
OTC, MS4, and com check.
Good afternoon, Linda. Copy you loud and clear. How me?
Good, you're loud and clear. OTC GLS. STLS on 212.
Go.
Step 668 is complete STLS initialization.
Attention to that, all systems, verify all systems ready for crew module closeout. 575. OTC. OTC.
Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and give you 576 closeout the crew module for flight per your checklist.
Roger, that's in work.
NTD MS1, contact.
MS1, this is NTD, and I have you loud and clear. Good afternoon, Linda.
Good afternoon, Jeff. You're loud and clear also.
Now, this is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 1 hour.
Houston, MS1, contact.
MS1, Houston has you loud and clear. Welcome aboard, Linda.
Thank you, Vegas. Have you loud and clear.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 1 hour, 42 minutes, 50 seconds, and counting. And voice checks are continuing as now all of our astronauts are on board Endeavour. Command and control of this vehicle will be the primary mission tasks for the commander and the pilot. They are currently seated in the vehicle and are again in the process of performing communications checks.
Yes, I'd like to get a side channel for RQC to work with CMQC. 142. Copy.
Much of their time and training in Houston has been spent in simulators. That exactly duplicates the quarters of the orbiter's flight deck, and they are very familiar with every switch and control on the flight deck and are now in the process of double checking to make sure that everything is properly configured for launch this afternoon. Again, all is continuing to proceed smoothly here in the Launch Control Center, firing room 3. External tank propellant checks have been made and are reported to be at their proper levels. The super cold fuels are constantly being replenished due to normal warm-up and boil-off, and stable replenish remains in effect until about 40 minutes prior to liftoff. Just a few moments ago, the ground launch sequencer computer program was started at the integration console here in the firing room, and engineers are beginning to set up the specific tables in the launch processing system that the ground launch sequencer will use as its guideline as we allow the launch countdown to continue. Also, the huge external doors on the vehicle assembly building have been closed and secured, and all personnel except those few who are necessary at the pad have been sent back to the fallback areas as launch operations for Endeavour's flight continue. Again, as our astronauts are being strapped into their seats aboard Endeavour here in firing room 3, as well as on the Space Shuttle Endeavour, everything continues on schedule for launch today. Again, our launch window actually opens at 5:40 p.m. and extends for about 10 minutes. However, the optimum launch time has been targeted for 5:45 p.m. This provides the greatest margins for our vehicle's performance. Again, this launch time could be tweaked a little bit during the T-minus 9 minute hold. Our best guess right now, our best estimation right now is that our launch will occur about 7 seconds after that 5:45 time. Weather forecasters are continuing their efforts to provide our launch team with accurate assessments of our launch time weather. Again, at this time, our weather looks is forecast and observed go. We are looking at a very minor shower out over the ocean that appears to be drifting in our direction. We'll be monitoring that over the next couple of hours as we move into our final launch countdown phase. Charlie Precourt, flying in the shuttle training aircraft, will be evaluating that in real time, and he will also be evaluating the crosswinds at the shuttle landing facility, which must be within limits under 15, 16, or 17 knots in order for us to commit to launch Endeavour today. Again, all 7 astronauts are on board Endeavour. We are on schedule and working no issues aboard the vehicle or issues in the firing room that would prohibit a launch on time. At T-minus 1 hour, 38 minutes and counting, this is Shuttle Launch Control.
OTC, MS2, com check.
Good afternoon, Dan. I copy you loud and clear. How me?
Rudy, I've got you loud and clear also. On.
Thank you.
And our comm check just heard with Dan Tawney, who is in the middle of our screen here, shown on the flight deck of Space Shuttle Endeavour. Again, all astronauts are currently on board, and comm checks will be commencing with all 7 of the astronauts, with both our launch managers here at Kennedy Space Center as well as the flight directors at Johnson Space Center. That will be coming up in the next few minutes.
NTD, MS2, com check.
MS2, this is NTD. Have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard, Dan.
Got you loud and clear also, Jeff. Loud and clear.
MS2, Houston, got you loud and clear. Dan, you look like you're all ready to go.
We're all ready for 2 more sardines in space, Vegas. Good to hear your voice.
CDR OTC, air to ground 1. CDR OTC, air to ground 1.
OTC, CDR, go ahead.
Yes, sir. At this time, can you verify each member of the flight crew is ready to proceed with the astrocom checks?
Okay, stand by, please. OTC, CDR, we're ready for contacts.
Copy that. Attention on that. All systems, any conversation on OIS 212 during astrocom checks will be heard by the crew. Channel should remain silent except for emergency calls. Flight crew, during the astrocom checks, adjust appropriate volume control for comfort. Do not change audio panel switch configurations. Flight crew, OTC, air to ground 1. How do you copy?
CDR, loud and clear. CLP.
MS1.
MS2. MS3. MS4. MS5.
Copy all loud and clear. Proceeding with air to ground 2. Flight crew, OTC, air to ground 2. How do you copy?
CDR, loud and clear. CLP.
MS1.
MS2. MS3. MS4. MS5.
Copy all loud and clear. Proceeding with ICOM A. OTC, air to air.
CDR, loud and clear.
CLP.
MS1.
MS2.
MS3. MS4.
And MS5. CDR OTC, 2-1, air to ground 1.
CDR, go ahead.
CDR astrocom checks complete. All personnel stand by for air to ground voice checks. And CMQC, that completes 580 through 593. Copy. I'll also give you 573. Copy. And APU OTC. It's APU. You can go to 161 and just confirm, just talk that IP real quick with the SD. Have a few more questions for you. Copy. And attention on 2 until the momentary loss of downlift. Downlift loss will be 2 to 3 seconds.
OTC, OVCC.
And go ahead.
Yes, sir. We have all the non-flight items removed from the crew compartment, and we'd like to go to close the hatch.
CGNC OTC. CGNC OTC 212. CGNC 640. We're ready.
OTC, OVCC.
OVCC, proceed with hatch closure.
Copy and work.
CMQC 657.
I copy.
OTC, CL212.
TVD OTC.
This is TVD.
What's the vent door configuration?
Left-hand 1, 2, leeward vent doors are open.
Leeward 1 and 2 are
Correct.
open. Copy.
We can take a not perform on 6.
Thank you. 654 through 656 not performing.
OTC, CL212.
Go ahead, ECL.
Yeah, can I get a CMQC on 143?
CMQC. Copy 143. CMQC, OTC.
CMQC.
653, we need to add a not performed. Goes with 654 through 656.
Copy that. We'll add and not perform.
Pending cannot perform there, and make the note say 4.
Copy that. Move the note prior to 653.
Affirm.
Will do.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 1 hour, 7 minutes, and counting. Our closeout crew is preparing to finalize operations to close Endeavour's hatch. Once the hatch is completely closed and sealed for flight, the astronauts will be directed to start a standard crew cabin leak check, and that will verify that the seal around the hatch is indeed tight. Once sealed, Commander Dom Gorey will oversee the pressurization of the cabin to flight pressures. Also at this time, the Eastern Range safety hold fire checks are beginning. This is a test designed to verify the ability of the range safety officer to halt the countdown during the final seconds prior to launch if some sort of an emergency should arise. This particular mission, STS-108, is the first utilization flight mission to the International Space Station. It will oversee the third exchange of the station expedition crew members. Endeavour is carrying on board the expedition 4 astronauts, Commander Yuri Onufrenko, astronauts Carl Waltz and Dan Birch, and they will be taken to the International Space Station to replace expedition 3 Commander Frank Culbertson and the other cosmonauts on board, Vladimir Dizharov and Mikhail Turin. They have been aboard the station since August the 12th. Also, Expedition 3 marked the first anniversary of continuous human presence aboard the space station. On board the Shuttle Endeavour is the Italian multi-purpose logistics module named Raffaello. It is making its second visit to the space station. It first flew back on Endeavour on STS-100 in April of this year. A single spacewalk is planned for this mission. That will be conducted on flight day 6. Also, a number of other experiments will be carried in Endeavour's payload bay. One of them is the third Starshine satellite, which will be deployed after Endeavour undocks from the station. Starshine is a 85-pound, 19-inch diameter ball with a surface that's covered with over 800 aluminum mirrors. The mirrors were polished by more than 25,000 students from 26 different countries. These students and other observers around the world will precisely observe the Starshine's position and calculate its orbital decay using the information to study the density of the atmosphere. Endeavour's STS-108 flight is the 12th space shuttle mission in support of the space station, the 17th mission of Endeavour, and the 107th flight in the shuttle program. All continues to go well and on schedule as our closeout crew is finalizing the operations to verify that Endeavour's hatch is closed. At T-minus 1 hour, 3 minutes and 45 seconds and counting, this is shuttle launch control.
when you're ready, CDR, I need you on L2A1.
CDR is ready.
Under cabin vent, vent isolation switch open until vent isolation talkback indicates open.
CDR, that's confirmed that the talkback is open.
Okay. And the vent talkback is verified closed?
The vent talkback is verified closed.
Okay, copy that. Release. ECR proceed 664.
Okay, 664 is verified.
And ECL proceed 142 with the pressurization check.
Copy, will we do that 143?
143, excuse me, I'm sorry.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 59 minutes and counting, and everything again continues to go well and as planned with today's countdown for the launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-108, the 12th shuttle mission to the International Space Station. At this time, all 7 crew members are on board Shuttle Endeavour and in their assigned seats. Communications checks have been performed and standard cabin pressure flight checks are indicating at this time nothing out of the ordinary. The standard cabin pressure flight checks are in the process at this time. Pre-flight alignment of the inertial measurement units are beginning. This IMU alignment is scheduled to be completed during the T-minus 20-minute hold. Today's launch is the 17th flight of the Space Shuttle Endeavour, the 107th shuttle flight overall in NASA's Space Shuttle program. Endeavour will be placed into a 122-mile-high orbit at an inclination of 51.6 degrees to the equator. Endeavour's mission is expected to last 11 days, ending with a landing back here at Kennedy Space Center on December the 15th at about 1:30 p.m. At T-minus 57 minutes and counting, this is Shuttle Launch Control.
Get a panel 01 reading from the CDR.
CDR? CDR, RTC.
CDR copies, we're reading 15.1 on the overhead.
Copy, thank you. TC CL212.
Go ahead.
Okay, we just want to let the crew know that we're getting ready to pressurize at this time.
Copy. CDR's copy.
CDR copies.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 45 minutes and counting. Everything continues to go well, and Charlie Precourt is seen here in the shuttle training aircraft at the shuttle landing facility at Kennedy Space Center as he takes off in preparation to stay aloft for the next hour and a half through the launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour. Precourt will be doing a number of things in the shuttle training aircraft, one of which will be to gauge the effects of our crosswinds on the vehicle as he makes touch and goes. He will make a sense similar to what the orbiter will be making if it has to do a return to launch site abort. Again, he will be staying aloft for the next hour and a half through the launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour, which remains on time. Updates from flight directors at Johnson Space Center have indicated that our new launch time is 5:45 and 8 seconds. That's 5:45 and 8 seconds p.m. Eastern Time for launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-108.
OTC GLS 212.
Go ahead, GLS.
749 through 754 are complete, not performed. 751. That's mainline activation for GLS.
Copy that. CDPS, OTC.
Good.
Looks like we're ready for 760 with you.
Copy, I'll put that in work.
OTC DPS. Go ahead, DPS. Give you step 765 complete. Copy that, thank you. (760 through 765 complete. That's it. ECL OTC.
Go ahead.
For 755.
Yeah, we're still at work.
Okay.
A few minutes ago, the Cape Canaveral Weather Office informed NASA Launch Director Mike Leinbach of the forecast for our launch attempt today. Currently, we are observed in forecast go with no launch commit criteria violations. However, at this time, we are also monitoring a cell of small showers about 15 to 30 minutes offshore, which are moving in our direction. There is some light rain in these offshore showers that are forming offshore. We anticipate that the showers will be moving into the vicinity over the next 30 minutes. They are actually forming offshore but moving onshore. We expect that with no showers forming behind this small cell that we should be cleared for flight and for launch, but we will be monitoring it very closely. The shuttle training aircraft with Charlie Precourt flying it will also be sent out to evaluate that small, very small cell of showers that again is drifting our way. Nonetheless, we are proceeding on schedule, and we have great hope that the showers will not impact our launch attempt today. At this time, the post-launch inspections and safing teams are being assembled at the roadblocks away from the pad, actually the roadblock southeast of the vehicle assembly building. Also, once the white room closeout crew is off the pad, which should be in the next few minutes or so, the fixed service structure elevator will be docked into place on the ground. Now, in the unlikely event that the crew has to make a quick escape from the vehicle and leave the pad, a set of slide wire baskets are available on the same level as the crew access arm.
COFC, OTC. OTC, go. 805. And work.
OTC CDR past PFSS. Transfer prep is complete.
OTC copies. Copy CDR 790. Past BFS transfer prep is complete. PC COFC 212. Go ahead, COFC.
Yeah, 806 through 808 complete, and per 809, the TNC SCAR's printer plotter setup is complete. Have LPS place the printer plotters offline.
LPS?
LPS, copy.
809. Copy.
OTC GLS,
Go ahead, GLS.
821 complete.
Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 25 minutes and counting. And we are standing by for a word from our closeout crew that the hatch is in fact sealed properly, and they should be departing the white room in the next few minutes. Commander Dom Gorey has performed voice checks and will be updating the altimeter settings in the cockpit over the next few minutes. Everything continues to go as scheduled for today's launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour. The next milestone in the count will be the standard built-in hold at the T-minus 20-minute mark. This hold at T-minus 20 will last for 10 minutes.
Copy 798. CLT, OTC.
At T-minus 24 minutes and counting, this is Shuttle Launch Control.
Spray boiler GN2 supply activation.
Okay, PLT in work.
OS OTC.
Let's go.
799.
You can verify. OTC, PLT.
Go.
Water spray boiler GN2 supply activation is complete.
Copy that, sir. Thank you. H-ready, OTC.
H-ready, go.
803.
Verified.
TC CL212.
Go ahead, ECL.
I gotta give you step 755, crew module pressurization. Initial leak check is complete, and we're ready for cabin vent redundancy.
Copy.
OTC, OVCC.
Go ahead, OVCC.
Yes, the white room is secured for orbiter up at 20. All the personnel are clearing back to the roadblock, and we're securing the emergency locker. Looks like we're all squared away, and with your concurrence, we're going to leave the pad.
Copy 840. Turn to pad, all closeout crew tools are accounted for.
That's affirmed.
Thank you. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Go SPE.
And we're back here at Kennedy Space Center now, and everything is on schedule. One issue has come up over the past few minutes. It's been found that a set of temporary handrails have been located on the mobile launcher platform. That it has been determined that these temporary handrails must be removed, so we're going to send out a three-person, what we call a red team or red crew. They will be sent to the pad to remove these handrails. We are confident that we can get this job done in a timely manner without any delay to our launch activities today. This is unplanned and unscheduled work. The team is being briefed at this point, but they will be on their way out to the pad in the next few minutes to remove these handrails. Again, these handrails are on the mobile launcher platform near the orbiter's vertical stabilizer. It's been determined that by engineering at the firing room that we will not launch with those handrails in position, so we are putting a three-person crew together at this point, sending them out to the pad to take those handrails off. This is a situation that we have teams standing by, available to perform these kinds of activities. The members of the team will be structural engineers or technicians, and they will be going out removing those handrails in a very timely manner, and then coming back off the pad. This activity is not expected to hold up our launch today, but we will be watching their progress very closely. Meanwhile, weather activities continue to show progress. We're not looking at any violations to any of our weather constraints. A band of showers or a cell of showers offshore moving onshore is apparently dissipating very quickly, and we do not expect any violations in our launch commit criteria as far as weather is concerned. With about 33 minutes remaining in our hold, we are at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. This is Shuttle Launch Control.
And attention all personnel, this is the NTD working Su-7 Volume 5 Sequence 120 as part of our Red Crew operations. And TBC, you need to verify that our cryopropellants are in stable replenish, revert, or stop flow configuration at Sequence 120, Step 14. Inward. And OTC and TBC also need to verify our PICs and SNA devices are not armed and that our inhibits are on. Step 15. Copy. EPDRC. EPD.
First step, 120-15, we need to verify that the PICs are not armed and inhibits are on.
Yeah, that's verified.
Thank you. HCD, HC.
HCD.
Verified detection systems operational.
I can verify.
And attention all personnel, no LPS program shall be run while Red Crew is within the BDA except as required to monitor and maintain vehicle and GSC in a safe configuration. Controlled switching is in effect. NTD concurrence is required for all switch actions at this point. And STM NTD?
STM.
Sequence 120, Step 17.
Copy.
And it looks like sub-step 1 and 2 will not be required. Correction, step 2 will not be required as it is already activated. Step 3 is required, and we do need to verify ODMs.
Copy.
So, verify this, please.
NTD TBC.
Go ahead, TBC.
1415 verified.
Copy, thank you.
about 5 minutes. There is the option of carrying the count down to the T-minus 5 minute mark and holding there for 5 minutes if necessary if the team is not back out of the blast danger area in time. And the team is going out right now, a convoy of 2 vehicles heading out to the pad. Again, this trip should take about 5 minutes or so, and we will be monitoring them. The firing room, the engineers, and the mission management team will be monitoring their progress on the cameras that will be tracking them for the entire time they are there.
And ECL, EPD, and C-Power, step 10, 12.
With about 25 minutes remaining in our scheduled hold, we are at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. This is Shuttle Launch Control.
Do a verbal to remove that constraint. We were going to defer it. I've already talked to the guys downstairs. We're going to transfer it downstairs for them to close post-launch and find out why those handrails were left in place, what OMI was or job car was supposed to remove them.
Okay, I copy that. And CMQC NTD on 212?
CMQC.
Okay, the last IPR we picked up on the handrails, once we do get verification that we are complete with the removal and that we are safe and go for launch, we are going to do a verbal on that to move the constraint and defer it. And we just want to give you a heads up so that you're prepared for that so that we can lift that constraint when the time is necessary.
CMQC copies.
NTD Houston Flight 212.
Go ahead, Flight.
Sir, we'd like to get your go to give the crew an ascent data update for a TAL site change whenever you're ready.
Sure, no problem with that. You can go ahead and work that.
Flight copies. We'll put it in work.
This is Shuttle Launch Control, T-minus 9 minutes and holding with about 22 minutes remaining in our scheduled built-in hold. And our red crew are in the process of being driven out to the pad where they will be removing the temporary handrails on the mobile launcher platform near the orbiter's vertical stabilizer. The team has been well briefed on what they're to do, and the timeliness is of utmost importance.
15% on the speed brake.
We are monitoring their progress on our tracking cameras. The feeling of the launch control team up here is that we are doing this in a timely manner, and we should not have any issues with coming out of our hold on time. We will monitor it. We are also at this time doing a visual scan of all the handrails on the mobile launcher platform to verify that there are no temporary handrails remaining other than the ones that we have noticed on camera previously. The red crew is climbing the incline to the pad at this point. The flame stack in the background burning off excess liquid hydrogen, excess gaseous hydrogen from the liquid hydrogen in the orbiter's or the external tank.
And Houston Flight NTD?
NTD Houston Flight.
Okay, are we done now with the...
And the red crew is now at the pad. They'll be disembarking from their vehicle quickly and making their way to the location where they can remove those handrails in a timely manner.
Ask you to reinforce your team to stay focused. I know we're working this handrail issue, but I think we have that well under control and have a good shot at getting those guys removed and being a good configuration for launch. So I would ask the whole team to stay focused and follow the procedure as written, and don't be distracted by what appears to be a flurry of activity late in the count, which actually it is. However, I think we have a good shot at getting those handrails off. I have requested through safety to entertain the thought of counting down from 9 to 5 if we're not fully clear of the LDA, and I'd ask you to go verify that with safety. But we would hold at 5 until the red crew has cleared the LDA. So that would be our kind of our last-ditch effort to get the handrails out and the guys out of the LDA. So if you could work that, please.
Okay, copy. Safety console NTD. Safety good. Okay, with the red crew in progress at this time, we are looking for concurrence to continue to count. If we get into the posture where we're ready to pick up the count and the folks are still at the pad and it appears as though we are going to have an opportunity, we'd like to have that ability to count from T-9 to T-5 with the understanding that personnel would be required to be clear of the LDA prior to continuing past T-5 minutes.
And safety council concurs with that.
Okay, copy. And attention all testing personnel, continue to monitor your systems and please remain focused on the events while we do have the team inside of the pad, and also be prepared as we will be picking up the count when the opportunity arises as well. We will keep people up to speed where we are with the red crew operations and when we do complete that. STM
NTD, CDR.
Go CDR.
CDR, I'd like to bring up a Spec 50 on the GNC pass display and enter Zaragoza as our tail site.
DPS? Go ahead. Copy CDR's question. He wants to enter Zaragoza on Spec 50.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Thank you. Proceed, CDR.
We'll go.
OTC, CHUD.
Go.
Steps 1044 and 1045 complete.
Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control, and it appears that our red crew have retrieved the temporary handrails. We are verifying at this time that there are no other temporary handrails in that area. Doing that visually, as well as the red crew is making a quick look around. So far it appears that there are no other temporary handrails that need to be removed, and we have the ones in hand that need to come off the pad.
Temporary handrails will need to be required to be removed. Okay, I copy that, thank you. And STM, while I have you, step 968, we'd like to perform that, please.
Yes, sir.
It is not required for the operation. And Launch Director, NTD on 212.
Launch Director.
Okay, STM has verified that there are no other handrails at this point that need to be removed. So once we get the two removed off from zero level, that should complete our task.
Okay, outstanding. Are they going to be taking those handrails down the elevator with them, or what do they plan to do with them?
Okay, they already have them in the van.
Ah, copy. Very good. Outstanding.
And as we're watching the campus, looks like they're just departing the pad surface as well.
Yeah, copy that. I just turned around and watching the camera myself. Thank you.
And we have confirmed that the temporary handrails are off the mobile launcher platform. Were taken down off the pad structure, put into the van, and are being driven back with the red crew at this time.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Okay, how's your constraints list looking right now?
We still have the one open constraint, and I'm working out with SPE here now. And SPE entity?
Go ahead, this SPE.
Okay, it looks like they have removed the handrails at this time, and there were no other handrails identified as a constraint. So with that, we'd like to get your concurrence to go ahead and defer the ITR, as we discussed earlier.
Okay, yeah, you have my concurrence to go ahead and defer that to the next flow, and we will take care of that paper post-launch, and there's no longer constraint to launch.
Okay, I copy that, and STM entity?
STM goes, sir.
Okay, just want to get one final verification that there were no other handrails, and that with the removal of these two, that you all are built for launch as well, correct?
Yes, sir. That's affirmative.
Okay, copy, thank you.
And STM Launch Director, was that visual by the guys out there in addition to the OTV scan, or what?
It was the OTV scan, sir, and also they did a quick visual as they were taking them down, the two that they removed.
Okay, so you had two verifications of no other handrails that need to be removed.
Yes, sir, that's affirmative.
Okay, very good.
ANTD, ANTD on 212. Go ahead, ANTD. Okay, red crew operations are complete. The handrails have been removed, and the red crew is clear to the BDA, heading out to the LDA. Estimated time to clear the LDA is a minute. Okay, copy, thank you. And CMQC, NTD?
CMQC.
Okay, we have the concurrences at this time, and we would like to go ahead and defer the IPR. And when we've done that, we'd like to verify that we have a clear constraint list.
Yes, sir. We will defer line item 382 to next launch on net concurrence. Copy that.
Okay, and can you verify that we have a clear constraint?
And with that, the red crew is being driven off the pad. And we have 13 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in our scheduled built-in hold. The red crew is being driven back away from the launch danger area. They should be back in the next minute or so with the handrails in tow. No other handrails were seen at the pad, and we have been given the clearance to continue with our launch activities once the red crew is back out of the launch danger area. With 13 minutes remaining in our scheduled built-in hold, we are at T-minus 9 minutes and holding.
Director, verify no constraints to launch.
Engineering team is go.
Thank you, Charlie. KSC Safety Mission Assurance.
KSC SMA is go.
Copy. International Space Station Launch Manager.
The space station team's go, Mike.
Thank you, Bill. Range weather. Copy.
2 minutes remaining in the hold.
Launch Director, range weather 212, over.
Launch Director.
Roger, sir. We are red for flight through precipitation. STA reports moisture in the cloud over the pad. He'll let us know if and when that clears the pad. We are red for flight through precip, over.
Okay, do you have an estimate on when that may clear up?
I said it was building a little bit from out over the water. I don't know if we can. We really can't see that much over the on the radar itself. It's just that he's got moisture in the cloud right in the flight path, and in the past that's always been a constraint to launch for flight through precip, over.
Okay, copy. Ops Manager, Launch Director, 212.
Ops Manager on 212, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The launch team is ready to proceed. The vehicle is ready to go. We are holding for range weather, for launch weather, with flight path through precip. The STA is working. I hope to get that cleared in a few moments, but we'll just have to wait on the report back from the STA.
Okay, at the current time, we're working no other constraints other than weather. What is your recommendation? I'll count down to 5 minutes.
And break, this is NTD, and TLS cancel pending resume at this time.
Complete.
Copy, thank you. And Ops Manager, you can continue.
Right, Ops Manager, this Launch Director. I would recommend going on down to 5 in a situation like this. Those 4 minutes may help us. So that's what I would prefer to do.
I concur. Mission management team concurs, and we're standing by for STA input on the weather. Let's go ahead and count down to 5 and hold.
NTD Launch Director 212.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Okay, what I'd like to do is pick up the count, going down from 9 to 5, hold at 5, pending range weather, go for launch.
Okay, I copy that. And attention all personnel, we are holding at this point, and we are about ready to resume the count. And we will count to T-minus 5 minutes. And GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
Countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 1, mark.
And we're at T-minus 9 minutes and counting. And the word right now is that we will carry it down to the T-minus 5 minute mark and hold there and wait for further understanding from the STA pilot, Charlie Precourt, as to what he's observing in the clouds directly over the pad.
And Houston Flight NTD, if you have any updates to our lock drain back hold time, so we'll be looking for those.
NTD Houston Flight, I have a drain back hold time update for you.
I'm ready to copy.
2 minutes, colon, 42 seconds. Over.
Copy 2 minutes, 42 seconds. And
That's a
attention
good
all
copy.
personnel, our lock drain back hold time is now 2 minutes, 42 seconds. CLT, OTC.
PLT, go.
Connect essential buses to fuel cells per your checklist.
PLT, in work.
T-minus 8 minutes and counting. And we will continue on counting for the next 3 minutes. Our window only extends about 4.5 minutes, so we don't have a whole lot of time to sit and wait for the clouds to clear, but we will be holding at the T-minus 5 minutes.
A cloud that may be dripping on you a bit out there, and if we get the clearance from the STA and range weather, you guys will be on your way here momentarily. So if we do get to go, good luck, Godspeed.
Thanks, Mike. Endeavor's in great shape. We're just waiting on the weather. Thanks.
CLS's go for orbiter access arm retract.
The orbiter access arm is being retracted away from the vehicle. This is a walkway used by the crew to gain entry into and out of the vehicle, and it can be returned to position within seconds if necessary. T-minus 7 minutes and counting. Orbiter test conductor Rudy Tinch has given pilot Mark Kelly the go to perform a auxiliary power unit pre-start procedure. Those APUs will not be started until we come out of the hold at T-minus 5 minutes.
JRPS, OTC.
PLT, go.
Oh, sorry, JRPS, OTC. JRPS, start trip APU strip chart recorders. APU strip charts are started. CLT, perform APU pre-start.
PLT, in work.
Once we get to the T-minus 5 minute mark, we will have 3 minutes, 52 seconds of window remaining.
OTC, PLT, APU pre-start complete, pre-grade knockbacks.
Copy that. NTD LPS. Go LPS?
Yeah, we got an RF glitch on the standby FEPs. We need to check to see if anybody is aware of any problems that we created in an RF glitch, such as a helicopter flying through our pattern between here and Milan.
Yeah, we did just have a report of a helicopter taking off. Double check. And CCSE, is everything good on your end?
Didn't see anything.
T-minus 5 minutes and holding.
Minus 5 minutes.
And attention personnel, we are holding at T-minus 5 minutes while we continue to discuss the weather situation today.
And we have about 3.5 minutes of hold time at this point.
And currently our window remaining time is 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Mila, NTD on 212.
Mila?
Did you see on your end anything associated with the hit LPS?
Negative.
Okay, copy that. We did have reports of some helicopters in the area, and that's about all we've been able to surmise at this point.
LPS copy.
3 minutes remaining in the hold. 3 minutes remaining in the window. We're at T-minus 5 minutes and holding.
And LPS in this configuration, are you still go for launch?
That's fine, we'll go for launch.
Okay, copy, thank you.
And NTDSD?
Go ahead.
Yes, with the LPS error, the 2 consecutive errors on the 3 standby, we are okay with that at this time.
Okay, copy, SD, thank you. And attention all personnel, we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the window.
Standing by to hear back from the shuttle training aircraft pilot, Charlie Precourt, for precipitation and clouds directly above the Space Shuttle Endeavour. 2 minutes remaining in our window.
NTD Houston Flight 212.
Go ahead, flight.
Yeah, NTD, at this time, we have an update to our RTLS forecast. It's currently no-go. The observations, the official ops continue to be go. However, we have been getting reports from the STA pilot. He has increasing concerns with regard to RTLS landing weather. Again, we're still officially observed go and forecast no-go. It's my belief that the situation is too dynamic today for landing weather, and I think that's certainly the case. It's appearing to be the case for launch weather as well, so I'm going to recommend a no-go for launch at this time. Over.
I copy. And launch director NTD.
Stand by. Range weather, launch director 212.
Launch director, range weather 212, over.
Okay, Ed, you got an update for us?
Roger, sir. We are still red for flight 2 precipitation, over.
Okay, copy.
45 seconds remaining in our window.
Launch director of the Alpha Manager. I've copied all. I understand we're currently red for launch weather for precip and clouds, and we're currently red RTLS forecast for clouds that are below our limits ceiling. Furthermore, the STA pilot says his current observation is no-go at RTLS weather also. Based on this, the flight director and your recommendations, I request you go into a scrub recycle 24 hours.
Yeah, I copy. We're about ready to run out of the window anyway, so I copy and concur with that. NTD launch director.
Go ahead, launch director.
Okay, let's scrub our launch attempt today and go into 24, please.
Okay, I copy that. And GLS, give cutoff at this time, please.
Cutoff is given.
And with that, we have scrubbed our launch attempt for today. We will turn around for a 24-hour scrub turnaround. Our launch attempt tomorrow, Wednesday, December the 5th, will be at 5:19 p.m.
And attention all stations, RSL is hold has occurred. All personnel turn to sequence 18 on page 1141.
And we have scrubbed for reasons of weather, weather at the launch pad, as well as weather at the return to the launch site strip, the shuttle landing facility. We had 2 reasons to scrub today. We carried it down to the very wire, but it just looked like the weather was not going to cooperate. Therefore, we have called a 24-hour scrub turnaround.
PLT's ready.
APU hydraulics, APU fuel tank valves, 1, 2, and 3, all 3 closed.
Stay in work. LTC, PLT, APU fuel tank valves closed.
Continuing on the R2, APU controller power, 1, 2, and 3, all 3 to off.
PLT in work. And OTC controller powers are off.
Okay, continuing on R2, hydraulic main pump press, 1, 2, and 3, all 3 to norm.
Okay, that's in work. OTC, PLT, hide main pump press in norm.
CDR-TC.
CDR, go.
On F7, flight controller PLT OTC on R1. Power distribution, essential bus source. Fuel cell 1, 2, and 3, all 3 off.
Okay, PLT in work.